Joining me now is Anita Anand, Minister of Public Services and Procurement from her home in Oakville, Ontario. Nice to see you, Minister.
Nice to see you too, Rosie.
So it seems you and the Prime Minister have all said you're still on track to vaccinate all Canadians who want it by September. Is that dependent on all the other vaccines being approved, just AstraZeneca, just Johnson & Johnson? Just give us a sense of how that's going to work.
Well, frankly, I'm really happy you led off with that question because it is really important for Canadians to know that we are pursuing a two-pronged approach to ensure that we can vaccinate all Canadians by the end of September. The first, of course, is the one you alluded to. That is making sure that we have the distribution of approved vaccines, 6 million in Q1, hitting 30 to 38 million in Q2, and hitting 74 million vaccines in Q3. That's the first road. The second road is through the exercise of options. And you have seen prior to Christmas that we exercised 20 million options of Moderna. So that allows us to have 40 million doses of Moderna now, in addition to our 20 million Pfizer doses. And of course, those are the two approved vaccines to date. And that allows us to hit about 30 million Canadians. And we will continue to pursue the exercise of options with vaccine companies that have been approved. And we will make sure that those options can be delivered, those doses can be delivered within the time frame needed to ensure that all Canadians are inoculated by the end of September 2021.
Okay, so just on the options, we do have the option to buy 16 million more doses of Moderna. Given that we have not approved AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson yet, why not exercise that option now? Or are you doing that? Are you planning to do that?
We are in continual discussions relating to the exercise of options with Moderna and Pfizer, and I will let you know as soon as we reach some conclusions on those discussions.
And what is the motivating factor behind that? Is it to get whatever you can get, or is it to wait to see if there's a more practical vaccine that can be approved and more easily transported? How do you make that decision, Minister?
As I mentioned just a second ago, the key for us in the exercise of options is the early delivery of doses to Canada.
Okay.
That was what motivated our decision to exercise the 20 million Moderna options prior to the holidays, and we are continually in those discussions for accelerated delivery from Q2 to Q1, Q3 to Q2, on an ongoing basis with suppliers.
This was the other thing that I was wondering about around cost and contracts. If you're trying to move up delivery of all your doses, which I understand you're actively trying to do, are you paying more to have them faster, or is it a set price based on the agreement that you've previously made?
Well, let me be clear, and again, I'm glad you asked that question, is that we are leaving no stone unturned in our negotiations and have not left any stone unturned. Indeed, that is why we have been able to be one of the first countries to inoculate its citizens, one of the first countries to sign with Pfizer and Moderna to be at the front of the line with these companies and to make sure that we can start inoculations in all jurisdictions in Canada. It's been that fortitude at the bargaining table that has led us to this spot. Having said that, when we put items like price on the table, you have to remember that countries around the world are doing the same thing. And so from a company's perspective, what we are hearing back is that there is also an issue from their end in terms of their capacity. What can they produce and how fast can they produce doses for all the countries that are seeking this product at the exact same time. So I look at Canada's position relative to all countries in the world and continue to say we need to accelerate our deliveries, but by the same token, there are peer countries that haven't begun vaccinating at all. Yes. Australia, for example.
Just to be clear, to go back to the vaccines we have versus the vaccines we hope to have, if all we end up with is Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna, do we have enough to get this done by September?
We will have enough. We will.
Okay, good.
And we will be on track, without doubt, to ensure inoculations for all Canadians who want it by the end of September, if not sooner, right? That is the goal that I'm pursuing every single day, moving up that end of September timeline so that we can see ourselves through to the other side of this pandemic as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have heard from various provincial sources that there is a possible expectation this could be done by June.
Well, let me just say that the sky's the limit in terms of what I am prepared to do to get vaccines into this country. I want to say that there is a real ramp up happening right now. Of course, everyone knows, as I said, 6 million doses are expected in Q1, but we are going to ramp up considerably in Q2 with 30 to 38 million doses coming into this country. That is going to mean significant ramp up is going to be needed on the provincial and territorial side also. And we really need all hands on deck across the country to make sure that these inoculations continue apace as they should.
So when you hear provinces saying we've run out, here in Ontario this weekend, for instance, the University Health Network said it had to put off a number of appointments, Saskatchewan saying it doesn't have enough. What are we to understand from that? Is it that the provinces didn't plan properly according to the distribution calendar? Is it that you don't have enough to give them? What is the complication there?
It's really important to remember that with Major General Danny Fortin and the Public Health Agency of Canada, we have been and continue to be clear with the provinces and territories about what is coming in. This 6 million figure for Q1 is a figure that has been on the table for many months, and we also are providing weekly schedules to them. If anything, our doses are increasing, not decreasing. And so we will continue to work with the provinces and territories in a very collaborative fashion, because that is what is needed as we move through this important year in our history to make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward.
I want to quickly ask you about an urgent tender that your department issued for a national vaccine management system to track distribution, to make sure that things aren't wasted. Has that tender been granted? Because it did say it was mission critical to the success of the vaccination program. How close are you to choosing someone and getting that up and running by the end of the month?
We expect to be making an announcement this week on that front. We've completed our work on our end and are going to be coming forward to the Canadian public this week.
And that is, as I said, critical to understanding who got vaccinated, where they got vaccinated, all that kind of information?
Well, let's not forget that the Public Health Agency of Canada does have an IT system in place that is being used in conjunction with the provinces and territories at the current time. And the goal of this additional procurement was to enhance the capabilities across the country to ensure that we have the most seamless IT system possible as we go through this complex period in our country's history.
Okay, Minister, I know you're very busy. Thank you so much for making the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Rosie. Have a great day.